Okay, so this is an article on Politico, and I want to read the article, discuss the article a little bit because, like I said, it's discussing a subject that news media never discusses, and it is a driving factor as it relates to our politics today. It is the source for what's happening on the right. The division, the hate, the racism, it is one of the sources for that. It is connected to the Heritage Foundation. It is, in my opinion, connected to the Federalist Society. And it is the driving factor for Christian nationalism. So the article you can find over on ProPublica. I forget what I said. I think I said Politico. It's ProPublica. And I shared it over on my YouTube page, and I shared it over on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. Tweets by Tabitha, I think is my is where you can find me. Tweets by Tabitha. But this is the article, and this is on ProPublica's website. But I'm getting ready to read it, and we getting ready to discuss it because, like I said, news media is not going to discuss it. And when they talk about the deep state, you know how we say everything that they do is projection? Well, when they talk about the deep state and try and insinuate that it's Democrats, it's actually Republicans. Yeah, they go by these ancient promises that they have stirred up in their mind, promises by God that are manifest destiny, and they're doing it by way of the seven mountains mandate. So the name of the article is Inside Ziklag, the secret organization of wealthy Christians trying to sway the election and change the country. Now, when you think wealthy Christians, think the owners of Hobby Lobby. We all know Hobby Lobby, right? Think the owners of Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby has put so much money into oppressing black and brown people and women in this country. And I don't understand why women flock to buy their home decoration goods from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is king of lobbying politicians. They are king in supporting and providing funding to organizations like the Heritage Foundation, who then in turn buy politicians to vote their way, the Christian way. Hobby Lobby didn't want to provide their female employees with abortion care, with birth control. They didn't want no parts of that. I mean, when you walk into Hobby Lobby, it feels oppressive. It feels oppressive. So just Hobby Lobby, and I think this article is going to tell us some other organizations that are a part of who I call the deep state. So the little known charity is backed by famous conservative donors, including the families behind Hobby Lobby and Uline. Uline is that company where you can get all of your industrial needs, if your husband is like a blue collar worker and he needs those steel toe boots, or he needs those gloves, or you need those drums, big plastic drums, all of your industrial needs, that's what Uline provides. And when you shop at Uline, your money goes to lobbying politicians to further oppress you, to uplift Christian nationalism. Uline. I didn't know that one. And it's spending millions to make a big political push for this election, but it may be violating the law. Also, we're going to get into a certain twist to this. So, the name of the group is Zicklag, Zicklag, Ziklag. And it's supposed to be this secret organization. Now, I didn't know about this secret organization. I knew about Manifest Destiny, and I knew about the Seven Mountains Mandate, and just common sense told me that they are connected to the Heritage Foundation. I knew Hobby Lobby was the owners were Christian nationalists because, if you follow politics, how they have been moving in the political streets. I knew about Hobby Lobby. And like I said, just common sense ties them all together. I did not know anything about this organization called Zicklag, nor did I know anything about Uline. So I'm going to learn some stuff with this article. The Walters who own the Jockey Apparel Corporation, recipients of Zicklag's largest include Alliance Defending Freedom, which is the Christian legal group that led the overturning of Roe v. Wade, plus the National Pro-Trump group, Turning Point USA, and a constellation of right of center advocacy groups. Okay, so Zicklag's largest include Alliance Defending Freedom. These are the organizations tied to Zicklag. Okay, Alliance Defending Freedom, which is the Christian legal group that led the overturning of Roe v. Wade. If I'm correct, Stephen Miller is tied to this Alliance Defending Freedom. I could be wrong. Plus, National Pro-Trump group, Turning Point USA, that's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, who's tied to Candace Owens. Candace Owens, who's tied to Ben Shapiro. This is where they're getting their money from. Okay? ProPublica and Documented obtained thousands of Zicklag's members only email newsletters, internal videos, strategy documents, and fundraising pitches, none of which has been previously made public. They revealed the group's 2024 plans and its long-term goal to underpin every major sphere of influence in American society with Christianity. In the Bible, the city of Ziklag was where David and his soldiers found refuge during their war with King Saul. So I believe the pillars, every major sphere of influence is what's tied to the Seven Mountains Mandate. Education, religion, family, entertainment, politics. There's two more I can't remember. Hopefully we get into it. Quote, we are in a spiritual battle and locked in a terrible conflict with the powers of darkness. The powers of darkness are Democrats. Says a strategy document that lays out Zicklag's 30-year vision to redirect the trajectory of American culture towards Christ by bringing back biblical structure, order, and truth to our nation. Zicklag's 2024 agenda reads like the work of a political organization. It plans to pour money into mobilizing voters in Arizona who are sympathetic to Republicans in order to secure 10,640 additional unique votes, almost the exact margin of President Joe Biden's win there in 2020. The group also intends to use controversial AI software to enable mass challenges to the eligibility of hundreds of thousands of voters in competitive states. In a recording of a 2023 internal strategy discussion, a Zicklag official stressed that the objective was the same in other swing states. Quote, the goal is to win, end quote. If 75,000 people wins the White House, then how do we get 150,000 people so we make sure we win? According to the Zicklag files, the group has divided its 2024 activities into 3 different operations targeting voters in battleground states. Checkmate, focused on funding so-called election integrity groups. Steeplechase, concentrated on using churches and pastors to get out the vote. And Watchtower, aimed at galvanizing voters around the issue of parental rights and opposition to transgender rights and policies supporting health care for trans people. So these different Christian religious organizations took a piece, and they've been doing this for 30 years. So when you hear these people out here talking about we want it and we want it now, when these people have steadily been putting things into place for 30 years, those people are unrealistic. Because if we win in November, the fight is not over. We have to continue the battle for 2028 and then 2032. These people have been at it for 30 years. And for 30 years, too many of us have been sleeping. I've been sleeping. I only became aware when President Obama got elected. Up until that time, I was asleep. I was not conscious. I was not woke, not even a little. So it's only recently that a lot of us have been awakened as to what's going on. These people have been at it for 30 years. Moving on. According to the Zicklag files, the group has, I read that. In a member briefing video, one of Zicklag's spiritual advisors outlined a plan to deliver swing states by using an anti-transgender message to motivate conservative voters who are exhausted with Trump. Isn't that what they have been doing? They have been attacking transgender individuals and members of the LGBTQIA plus community to amp up the base. This is what they have been doing. This has been their plan. Their plan has been in motion. But Zicklag is not a political organization. It is a 501c3 tax-exempt charity. The same legal designation as the United Way or Boys and Girls Club. Such organizations do not have to publicly disclose their funders, and donations are tax deductible. In exchange, they are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for elected public office, according to the IRS. And so you know what they do? They get Turning Point USA. They get Charlie Kirk to do it. See how this is going? They get Charlie Kirk to do it. They get Ben Shapiro to do it. That's what they do. ProPublica and Documented presented the findings of their investigation to 6 nonpartisan lawyers and legal experts. All expressed concern that Zicklag was testing or violating the law. Yeah, because they are indirectly participating in politics. The Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation is a 501c. We all did a campaign to report the Heritage Foundation to the IRS. What is happening with that? I don't know. I know I did my part. And I will be doing my part when it comes to Zicklag. And I will be citing this investigative report from ProPublica. I got to find the information, tax ID number, all that jazz. I hope somebody comes across this and sends that information to me. Let's see. ProPublica presented the final. Okay. The reporting by ProPublica and documented, quote, cast serious doubt on this organization's status as a 501c3 organization, said Roger Kolanova, a professor at Catholic University's Columbus School of Law. Quote, I think it's across the line without a question. End quote. Zicklag officials did not respond to a detailed list of questions. Of course they didn't. Martin Nussbaum, an attorney who said he was the group's general counsel, said in a written response that some of the statements in your email are correct. Others are not. That is a direct quote. But he then did not respond to a request to specify what was erroneous. The biggest risk for charities that intervene in political campaigns, Mayer said, is the loss of their tax-exempt status. Donors' ability to deduct their donations can be a major sell, not to mention it can create a halo effect for the group. Quote, they may be able to get more money this way. It boils down to tax evasion at the end of the day, end quote. And so we're getting ready to go into the Dominion over 7 mountains. They're going to talk about the 7 mountains mandate, okay? Zicklag has largely escaped scrutiny until now. I have not heard of Zicklag. I've heard of 7 mountains mandate. I've heard of Manifest Destiny, Heritage Foundation. I've heard of all of their goals and what it is that they plan to do. Zicklag has gone completely unscathed, untalked about. I have not heard anybody talk about this organization. Zicklag has largely escaped scrutiny until now. The group describes itself as a private, confidential, invitation-only community of high net worth Christian families. So it's the elite in Christianity that are a part of this group, probably funding this group, that in turn funds Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and the Heritage Foundation. According to internal documents, it boasts more than 125 members that includes business executives, pastors, media leaders, and other prominent conservative Christians. Potential new members, one document says, should have a, quote, concern for culture, demonstrated by past donations to faith-based or political causes, as well as net worth of 25 million or more. So you cannot be a part of Zicklag if you don't have at least $25 million in the bank. And you must demonstrate that you have donated to faith-based organizations and to political organizations. That's the minimum of being able to be a part of this group. So currently, there's only 125 members in this group. Where was I? Well, none of the donors responded to requests for comment. So that tells me ProPublica know who these donors are. They have names. Wonder if they'll list them in this article. Tax records show rapid growth in the group's finances in recent years. Its annual revenue climbed from 1.3 million in 2018 to 6 million in 2019 and nearly 12 million in 2022, which is the latest filing available. The group's spending is not on scale of major conservative funders like Miriam Adelson or Bear Ray Seed, the electronics magnate who gave $1.6 billion to a group led by conservative legal activist Leonard Leo. That name is very popular in political circles. But its funding and strategy represent one of the clearest links yet between the Christian right and the election integrity movement fueled by Trump's baseless claims about voting fraud. Even several $1 million funding mass challenges to voters in swing counties can make an impact, legal and election experts say. So these groups, including Leonard Leo's group, they have been fueling and funding the fueling around voter fraud, which has led to baseless laws being put into place to suppress the black vote. Hold on, my screen went out. And I'm trying to see if it's going to come back. It looks like I'm still live, but the screen went out. Why? I don't know. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Can y'all hear me? I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Cherry Mandarin? Mm-hmm. Can y'all hear me? You can see me. Can y'all hear me? We're going to have a super fit once we vote. Where am I? Okay. Where am I? Oh, Zicklag was the brainchild of a Silicon Valley entrepreneur named Ken Eldred. Never heard of this person. It emerged from a previous organization founded by Eldred called United in Purpose, which aimed to get more Christians active in the civic arena, according to Bill Dallas, the group's former director. United in Purpose generated attention in June 2016 when it organized a major meeting between then candidate Donald Trump and hundreds of evangelical leaders. After Trump was elected in 2016, Eldred had an idea, according to Dallas. He says, I want all the wealthy Christian people to come together, Dallas recalled in an interview. Eldred told Dallas that he wanted to create a donor network like the one created by Charles and David Koch, but for Christians. Listen, I shared that diagram by the Koch brothers of their network. It's on my Instagram page. If not, I'll find it. I'll find it and I will repost it on my Instagram page, on Threads, and on my YouTube community wall. So y'all can see the diagram that the Koch brothers put together. This is the Koch brothers diabolical network and how they all came together to fund Donald Trump in 2016. Baby, you'll see some names, some organizations on that list, and you're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, now it all makes sense. I wonder if why didn't they share that organization? I want to see what it looks like of these Christians. Okay, where am I? He proposed naming it David's Mighty Men, Dallas said. Female members balked. Dallas found the passage in Chronicles that references David's soldiers and read that they met in the city of Ziklag, and so they chose the name Ziklag. The group's stature grew after Trump took office. And you notice, after Trump took office, they didn't just go away. They were still in battle. They stayed in the fight. That's why we are still here today battling with these Christian nationalists. They continue to press forward to make sure their goal was 100% in play to completely shut us down. What did Kevin Roberts tell us the other day? We're in the second revolution. and it will be bloodless if the Democrats just lie down and take it. He didn't say those exact words, but that's what he meant. In other words, if we fight back, there will be bloodshed. And he needs to know there's going to be bloodshed. There's going to be bloodshed. Where am I? The group's stature grew after Trump took office. Vice President Mike Pence appeared at a Ziklag event. That's politics. So I need Zicklag's tax ID number. I need who the CEO is, and I need to know who is the VP of accounting or financing. I need those two names so that I can file my complaint, so I can challenge their 501c3 tax status. Who know how to get that information? Anybody know how to get that information? Okay, so they got Mike Pence appearing at their events, as did former House and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, Mark Meadows, and other members of Congress. That's a political event. In its private newsletter, Zicklag claims that a coalition of groups it assembled played a hugely significant role in the selection, hearings, and confirmation process of Amy Coney Barrett for a Supreme Court seat in late 2020. So they're all intertwined in our politics. Who can get the tax ID number and the names of the people at the top? Because this is supposed to be a secret organization, Zicklag. How do we get that? Somebody educate me. Confidential donor networks regularly invest hundreds of millions of dollars into political and charitable organizations. The Christian nationalism movement has a variety of aims and tenets, according to the Public Religion Research Institute, that the U.S. government should declare America as a Christian nation. So this is why you hear Republicans all out saying, and it's not recent, they're just more loud with it now, or we're paying attention more now. We're more awake now. So we're seeing and hearing the things that they're saying. But this is what Republicans are always saying. This is a Christian nation. This is a part of their messaging. This is a part of their battle. So the U.S. government should declare America a Christian nation, that American laws should be based on Christian values. What did Lauren Boebert say at that meeting a few years ago? She said that the laws of the United States should be driven by the Bible. That's what she said in essence. She didn't use those exact words, but that's what she said in essence. That the U.S. will cease to exist as a nation if it moves away from our Christian foundations. We've heard Republican politicians saying that repeatedly, that being Christian is essential to being American, and that God has called Christians to exercise dominion over all areas of American society. That is the Seven Mountains Mandate. That is the Seven Mountains Mandate. And the areas of society, I named them, but I forgot to. Let me see. Politics, entertainment, education, family, religion. I'm always missing two. Let me get my phone, and so I can read them all. So we can have a clear understanding of the seven mountains of this mandate. No, I don't want that. And all you got to do is Google Seven Mountains Mandate, and a bunch of stuff will come up. Let me see if I can find a quick image, because I don't need all of this. Here's the image. Okay. Entertainment, business, education, family, government, media, and religion. So I was missing business and education. Those are the Seven Mountains Mandate. So when you feel like you're being attacked from all sides, news media, education, with them wanting to put the 10 Commandments in school and all of that stuff. You feel like you're being attacked from all sides? You are. You are. It's being purposely done. We are in an all-out battle. When they talk about the Civil War, I said it long ago, years ago, when they first started talking about the Civil War, another Civil War where Donald Trump first got into office. I said the Civil War is not going to be us shooting each other down. It's going to be by way of a different, it's going to look different. We've been attacked from all aspects. Where am I? Okay, wait. One theology promoted by Christian nationalist leaders is the Seven Mountain Mandate. Each mountain represents an industry or sphere of public life: arts and media, business, church, education, family, government, and science and